President Obama will not keep his promise to withdraw all but a handful of U.S. troops from Afghanistan by the end of his second term. The commander-in-chief made that official today, upping the number of Americans who will stay in the country for the foreseeable future. But many inside and outside the military are asking, are the numbers enough to strengthen what has been a weak Afghan fighting force? Correspondent Kevin Corke reports from the White House tonight on a major reversal for this president.
While America's combat mission in Afghanistan may be over, our commitment to Afghanistan and its people endures.
A commitment that has now endured for 14 years and will continue with today's announcement that the U.S. will slow its withdrawal from Afghanistan, opting instead to have troops by the thousands remain beyond next year.
We anticipated, as we were drawing down troops, that there would be times where we might need to slow things down or fill gaps in Afghan capacity. And this is a reflection of that.
The president announced that 5,500 American troops would remain in Afghanistan into 2017. The president calling it a modest but meaningful extension of our presence. But for much of 2016, around 9,800 American troops will serve throughout the country in non-combat roles. Still, it's a dramatic shift for a White House that wanted to leave around 1,000 troops in and around Kabul by the end of the Obama administration.
This was a disaster waiting to happen. I think what the president is doing now is enough to contain the damage, at least until he leaves office.
The decision underscores the difficulty the commander-in-chief has had in achieving one of the central promises of his presidency, ending the longest war in American history. Already stung by the threat of ISIS and the reemergence of al-Qaeda, it's the Taliban that's now creating the most trouble in Afghanistan. The terror group briefly seized control of the northern city of Kunduz before being pushed back. That's the very same city where the U.S. military mistakenly bombed a hospital occupied by Doctors Without Borders, killing 22 in the process. The president apologized for the strike, but new questions are now being asked about whether coalition analysts believe the Taliban was using the hospital as a base.
The president's expectation is that he'll receive a full accounting of these facts in the context of a thorough, objective, and transparent report from the Department of Defense.
But experts say in a fog of war, especially one more than a decade along, decisions have consequences, which is why many believe that despite calls from the left to leave the region wholesale, the president in this case made the right move.
I've gotten to the point where anytime the president makes a national security decision that's not a disaster, I'm grateful for it. But I think this is not a strategy to win in Afghanistan. It is a strategy to avoid a disaster, to avoid another Iraq.
If he was disappointed that he had to make this decision, Bret, the president flatly today said no, adding that this was the result of a months-long review and reflected the wishes of commanders on the ground. And we heard that an awful lot today from this White House, Bret.
Kevin Corke live on the North Lawn. Kevin, thank you.